Hi guys, Mr. Hill here with your maths for today. So we're going to be looking at adding mixed numbers. So yesterday we went through fractions that added through one. Today we're going to be adding mixed numbers. So before we get started, I wanted to just refresh your minds on the vocabulary that we use when we're talking about fractions. So you're going to match each number to a description. Each number can be matched with more than one description. So look carefully at your number and then at the description. Pause here to complete this. Okay, how did we get on? Let's start off with 1/3. It is a unit fraction. It has 1 as the numerator, so that means it's a unit fraction. It is a proper fraction. The denominator is greater than the numerator. And it is also less than 1. We know this because, again, the denominator is greater than the numerator. Our second one, 9/2. This is an improper fraction. So the numerator is greater than the denominator. It is a non-unit fraction and it is greater than 1. Now the middle one, 2 8/3. It's greater than 1 and it's not written correctly. We've got this strange mix of a mixed number and an improper fraction. Let's put it right. It should be 4 2/3. Now it's written properly. It's also a mixed number. 4/7 is less than 1. Again, we know this because the denominator is greater than the numerator. It is a proper fraction for the same reason. And it is also a non-unit fraction because it has a numerator greater than 1. Our final one, 7 2/5. We know it's greater than 1 and we know it's a mixed number. So adding mixed number fractions. A question here, 2 1/5 plus 3 3/5. There's a couple of ways about going about doing this. So we're going to go through both of them and then you can work out which one works best for you. So first off, I'm going to convert both mixed numbers to improper fractions first. So I'm going to do that using my bar model. So I've got 2 full rows of 5s and I've got 1/5 left over. So I've got 2 lots of 5/5 plus 1/5. That gives me 11/5. For my other number, 3 3/5, I have 3 full rows. That's 3 lots of 5/5 and then 3/5 in the final row. So 3 lots of 5/5 plus 3/5 gives me 18/5. Now I can add these together nice and easily. I have got all the denominators to be the same. I can add my numerators exactly the same as we did yesterday. So I've got 29/5, or to put it into a proper mixed fraction, I can divide 29 by 5, and I know that 5 5s makes 25 with a little, so I have 4 remaining. So we have 5 4/5. Now, there's another way of doing this. I'm going to add my whole numbers and my fractions separately. So this method might work better for you than the first method. So again, we've got our bar models in fifths. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move my whole bars to one side and I'm going to move my fractions of bars to the other side. So I have 2 full bars and 3 full bars. That gives me 5. And then I have 4/5 left over here in what that bar. So I have 5 4/5. I get the same answer both ways round. It's just about what works best for you. So have a think. Have a look at both methods. Which one do you think you're happier with? Just have a think for a moment and which one works best for you. Okay, let's move forward. Now, I have 3/4 and I'm adding 4 5/12. So we've got mixed numbers and we need to find equivalent fractions so that we have our denominators to be the same. So I've got my bars here. I'm going to take my full bars. I'm going to make life easy for myself. So I have 3 and I have 4. That gives me 7. I now have left to work out 1/4 plus 5/12. We've done these. We've practiced these lots. So we need to find our equivalents first. So we're going to make 1/4 into an equivalent for our 12ths. So we're going to multiply that by 3. So I have 3/12 plus 5/12 gives me 8/12. So I can write my answer as 7 and 8/12. Now, let's have a look at 8 and 12. They're both even numbers, so I can divide them by 2. They're also both in the 4 times table as well, so I can make that fraction into its simplest form. So if I wanted to, I can divide both of those by 4 and it becomes 7 and 2/3. It's a step that we just use sometimes to make sure we've got the neatest version of a fraction. Okay, now it's your turn. Teddy and Mo are adding mixed numbers. Which method do you prefer? Talk about it with a partner or with a Teddy, with your pet, with your sibling, just to explain which one you are happier using. Question 2, complete the calculation. So you're going to follow the method that we've just gone through. So finding the equivalents, and then whether you choose to use the bar model to support you, it's up to you. So complete these calculations. Pause the video here. Okay, some answers for you. Check your answers here. If you've got a few wrong, maybe go back and just rewatch the first part of the video and maybe try a different method of adding our mixed numbers together and see which one works better for you. Are we ready to move on? Let's go. So your turn again. We've got 3 and 4 to answer. Question 3, how can Ron improve his answer? So have a look at the answer that he's got. What could he do to it to improve it? And then you've got some further additions to have a go at. So if you've gone back and rewatched the beginning of the video, had a look at the other method that you maybe didn't use, try out the new method again and see what you come up with. Pause your video here. Okay, how did we get on? Are we ready for the answers? So question 3, Ron can improve his answer because he's got a bit of a mess as his answer, really. He's got 3 and 13/10. So he's got a mixed number and an improper fraction. It just looks a bit messy. So if we look at 13/10, that's equivalent to 1 and 3/10. So 3 and 13/10 is actually 4 and 3/10. Completing the additions, this time you need to find the smallest form of that fraction. Again, whether you've taken the whole numbers out and added them together first and then just focused on the fractions, or whether you've converted it to improper fractions all the way through, whichever method works best for you is fine, so long as you get the right answer. So again, if the answers come out wrong, maybe go back and look at a different method, or take one of these questions back with you and work it through with the model on the screen. So a bit of a word question for you. In this rectangle, each longer side is 4/5 of a meter longer than the shorter side. So what is the perimeter of the rectangle? Have a think. Can you work this out? So let's have a look at this together. In this rectangle, each longer side is 1 4/5 of a meter longer than each shorter side. So what's the perimeter of the rectangle? So we know rectangles, they have 2 sides that are the same length. So we've got those. Now the longer sides, 2/15 plus 1 4/5. So we're using the skills that we've been working with so far this morning. So we've got 1 and 12/5. So I'm going to multiply 4/5 by 3 so that I get my denominators the same at the bottom. So I have 3 and 13/15 of a meter as the length for that side. So knowing rectangles, I know that I have 2 short sides, I have 2 long sides. So once I've worked out one long side, I can use it for the other long side. And now all I've got to do is add my numbers together. So if I take my whole numbers, I've got 2 and 2, 3 and 3. So 3 and 3 makes 6, 2 and 2 makes 4, 6 and 4 makes 10. And now I can add up my 15ths. I've got 28 15ths, so 13 and 13 for 26, add 1 for 27, add 1 more for 28. Now I can't leave it like that because I've got a mixed number and an improper fraction. So I'm going to divide 28 by 15. So I now have 11 wholes and 13 15ths. And I need to remember to add on meters because that's the measurement we're using for this calculation. Have a go with these ones. Pause the video here. Okay, how did you get on? If you feel like you've got really stuck with these, not to worry. We're going to go through the answers. So each blue ribbon is 2 meters and 4/9 of a meter long. The yellow ribbon is 3 meters and 2/3 of a meter long. So what is the total length of the yellow and blue ribbon? So we've got the answer here, 6 and 1/9. Just wanted to go through how we got there. So I have 2 and 4/9, and I'm adding 3 and 2/3, which will give me, so I'm just going to look at my whole numbers first. So I've got 2 and I've got 3, so that gives me 5. So I've now got to work out 4/9 plus 2/3. So to get from thirds to ninths, I need to multiply it all by 3. So I'm going to change that. So I'm going to have 6/9. So I've got that there. That equals 10/9, which is the same as 1 and 1/9. So I've now got to work out 5 plus 1 and 1/9, which gives me my answer. So I can add my 2 whole numbers together, 6 and 1/9. Part B, a red ribbon is 1 and 5/18 of a meter longer than the yellow ribbon. How long is the red ribbon? So we know from part A, our yellow ribbon is 3 meters and 2/3 of a meter long, and we need to add on an extra 1 meter and 5/18 of a meter. So again, I'm going to take my whole numbers off. So I've got 3 add 1, that's going to make 4. So I'm now adding 2/3 and 5/18. I can't do that at the moment because my denominators are different. So I'm going to multiply this one by 6 to give me 12/18. And then I can add the 5/18 I've already got, which will give me 17/18, which then I can take up here, and my answer is 4 and 17/18. Now, the perimeter of our triangle here is what we're looking to calculate. So I've got 3 fractions to add together. I've got 3 and 2/7. I'm adding 8 and 4/7, and I'm adding 6 and 11/14. So again, as I've been doing all along, I'm going to take my whole numbers. So I've got 3 add 8 makes 11, add 6 makes 17. Now I can start looking at my fractions. I can't divide this one to make my denominator 7, so I'm going to need to multiply these by 2. So I now have 4/14. I'm going to multiply this one by 2 as well to give me 8/14. And I also have 11/14 there. So now all my denominators are the same. I can add my numerators. 4 add 8 is 12. 12 add 11 is 23. So I have 23/14. This is the same as 1 and 9/14, which I need to add to my 17 I got from the beginning. So 17 add 1 and 9/14. Well, I only need to add the whole numbers. So I have 18 and 9/14 as my answer there. You've done really well today, guys. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you back in class very soon.